to start off with a question. If you're learning to ride a bike as a child and you ride a bike with balancing wheels or stabilizers on the back, or you ride a balance bike which has no pedals and no stabilizers or wheels on the back, which one, if any, do you think would be the most effective for learning how to ride a bike? You can either pick A, a balance bike, B, a balancing with training wheels, or C, neither. They're basically the same. A 2023 paper actually looked at cycling, developing the skill of cycling or balancing on a bike. They had 25 children and they gave them 10 sessions, 40 minutes per session, to learn how to ride a bike. The first 6 sessions was an intervention training session. One group used balance bikes. Another group used training wheels on the back of the bike for the first 6 sessions, and then the last 4 they used a conventional bike to see if they could ride independently without any help. They were looking for 3 different milestones alongside can you ride independently. The first one was the push-off. Can you start riding a bike by yourself? The second one was can you consistently cycle about 10 meters? And the third one is braking. Can you stop? So can you start, can you continue to cycle, and can you stop all by yourself? Now, after 10 training sessions, 88% of these children could learn to ride a bike independently. That's pretty good. That's a lot of success. But what was interesting is that 75% of the training wheel intervention group could cycle, but 100% of the balance bike could cycle. Of course, I'm going to add a caveat here that all studies have limitations, whether it's sample size or something else that happened during the study, and we'd want repeatability. Now, I urge you to have a look at the research yourself, but I found a 2017 paper suggesting the same, a 2022 paper suggesting the same, but a recent 2024 paper that used the same methods, it was the same research group, found basically the same results. There were 23 children, they all did 10 sessions, 6 intervention, 4 with the conventional bike, and the balance bike group, 100% could cycle after the 10, and 75% of the training wheels could cycle after the 10. But I'm going to get back to this paper in a little bit because they looked at the reasons why. So going back to this 2023 study and these 3 different milestones, the balance bike group, intervention group, was actually faster, more than 2 times faster than the training wheels group on some of the milestones. So not only is it finding more success in this small period of time, but it's faster. I would argue the faster it relates to the success. If maybe those 12 or 13 weeks, the balance wheel group might have found 100% success as well, likely because we're all learning individuals. But the speed at which you can learn these skills on the balance bike seems to be faster, according to this study anyway. But why? For clarity, these papers were brought to my attention by Rob Gray, who recently did a podcast episode about this conversation. Why? Well, in that 2024 paper, they used inertial measurement units, basically devices that go on the bike or the person that tells or gives feedback of how much movement there was. And I'll show an image on screen that was in the paper. And just like the 2013 study, there were 3 stages. The first stage at the beginning, measuring their movement at the beginning, and as you would expect, there was a lot of variability. There was lots of movements going on. But it was at stage 2 where things started to get interesting. The balance bike had more variability, more functional variability, more movement in all of the parts of the body. They're moving their body to try and balance on the bike. Whereas the intervention group with the training wheels had more variability on the bike frame. So because the balance wheels were helping them balance, they weren't really falling over, they were using less of their body to balance and just changing the frame. Rob Gray describes the balance wheel practice design as decomposing the skill, because when you are cycling with wheels on the back, you don't really need to balance that much because the wheels are helping you. It's a constraint that is helping you do something, but it doesn't represent the full skill, the full cycling skill, because you're not focusing on balancing, you're focusing on steering and pedaling. Whereas the balance bike intervention simplifies the skill. There's no pedals, which means you can use your feet if you do start falling, but you still need to balance. The wheels aren't there to help you. You have to use your body and work out how to balance. That's why there is so much more variability in stage 2 for the balance bike compared to the training wheel. And if you look at the individuals that were unsuccessful in being able to ride the bike individually at the end, they actually had reduced variability during stage 2. So increased functional variability is actually more effective for learning. Variability is a solution, not a problem. It allows exploration, it allows mistakes or errors so that we can correct for it, we can adapt our movements to be more successful. If you constrain too much or you decompose the skill, like with the balance wheels, there are less chances to make mistakes or errors and less areas to explore those movements. Later on in the discussion, they talk about walkers, and using walkers for babies could actually delay or hinder the development of walking because they become reliant on the support, similar to the training wheels. They become reliant on the support to balance. They haven't found a movement solution without those constraints because they are different skills, decomposed skills. This paper, an area of research, seems to support the ideas that decomposing practices or breaking apart skills and putting them back together is less effective than training something that is simplified, practicing something that is simplified. And although this is in movement, this is cycling, and we use this inside of sports skill acquisition, I think it can also apply to other skills such as maths and English and science and language learning and all of the other behavioral learning that we do as human organisms. I know for me, someone taking the ecological approach, I use this coaching somersaults on a trampoline, forwards, backwards, seat landing, front landing, back landing, twisting. I also use it to develop my own skills in various areas such as language learning, maths, code, science, technology. So I think it's applicable, representative practice is applicable to all learning environments. So the main question I, as a coach and a learner, look to explore inside of my Discord server and online is the reasons behind the constraints. We can add loads of constraints, but why am I using that constraint, and is that going to be effective for self-organization because it's representative, or am I decomposing the skill too much?